Hi, and welcome to the Masters of Growth show powered by Iridion, the podcast with the intent to give you actionable advice to learn and succeed as an optimizer out there. My name is Tim Habig. I'm the director of Iridion, and with me is my fabulous co-host, André Morys. Hi, André.
Hi. Hello.
So, as this is technically our episode number 1, you might expect an introduction about ourselves and the topic and why we're doing that. To not waste your time, we did a small shortcut to provide that. So by the time during which this episode is already out, you will find an episode 0, which is a small introduction episode, either on YouTube, our YouTube channel, or the podcast feed, whatever medium you're choosing, which gives you those background information of why we're doing that. So we can jump straight ahead into actionable advice and the questions we got so far. So if you're looking for introduction and background, check out episode number 0. Today is all about getting right to the first questions. And
seems like we are optimizers.
Seems like we're optimizing for progress and results. And with that, I suggest we jump into the first set of questions. Small spoiler ahead, if you want to submit any questions to us, there are 2 ways you can do that. Either you tweet at us using the hashtag MOG, Masters of Growth. I'm at Herbigt, Herbigt on Twitter, and André is at Morys, Morys. Submit your questions there, or the other way is you head over to our website, iridion.com, and use the little intercom chat option on the lower right to submit any questions. So, André, what kind of questions have reached us so far, and which one we want to discuss today? One came in via Facebook, and it's pretty simple, and it's pretty matching the theme of our show pretty good. It is, what is the actual difference between growth hacking and optimization? Wow,
yeah.
Pretty religious, right?
Yeah, and I think it's a valid question because it's in the mind of a lot of people, and I think so many people have different ideas about what's conversion optimization. Some still say conversion rate optimization, and growth hacking. So there's a tremendous amount of new growth hackers on this planet. They all use little rockets as a piece. Yeah, and hockey stick curves. Yeah, I mean, I think conversion optimizers started with hockey stick curves. But anyway, I think if you're clever enough, you see the advantages of both concepts. And what I see from the Facebook thread is that most people say, yeah, growth hackers, they care for like bigger part of the value chain. So they're not just optimizing on-site, they're also optimizing traffic and everything around traffic. I would say growth hackers, they make a deeper dive into a system. That's why they call it hacking, to get bigger levers of optimization. While, yes, of course, a good conversion optimizer claims to optimize the on-site experience only. So, but if you're a good optimizer, of course, you also dig deep. And of course, you also care about traffic and where do users come from. So the difference might not be that big. And it's a question, what term attracts you better? Yeah. So
I think maybe from my perspective, what I would definitely say is that the rise of growth hacking as a term, and maybe also like famous people in the realm of growth hacking, like Andrew Chen, Sean Ellis, and like all those popular people, they at least help to get optimization also a bit more exposure within the scene in general, right?
Yes, and it seems to be a term that is much associated with startups and Silicon Valley startups and some of these really tremendous success stories that they have. Yeah, so maybe it's, of course, that is one a critic I see in Facebook, that when I ask people, what do you think is a growth hacker better in providing compared to a conversion optimizer? Some people said, yeah, they're good in self-marketing, and in branding. So of course, growth hacking seems tons more
shiny.
Attractive, shiny, yeah. Compared to conversion rate optimization. That's what they did since 10 years, isn't it?
That's true. What I found interesting, what you just said, is that like that a growth hacker like digs deeper, like looks at it more overall mechanics as well. If I got you right. And I think what I saw as well, oftentimes is just from my perception that optimizers are more often in the realm of the marketing department, I would say, like regarding this on-site perspective. And what I see more that growth people are more like really in the product space, like further down the value chain, so to say.
Product and tech, yeah, because I think because it is a lot driven by startups and their organizations are already cross-functional teams, product teams. So of course the growth hacking is a task that everybody has to do. But from my perspective, there's also another difference. I think, and that also came out when I asked the question, what do you think is the difference between growth hacking and conversion optimization? It seems that a lot of people not just see conversion optimization as something for traditional companies, and of course there it would be the marketing department, but they see conversion optimization as a task that means implement a continuous optimization process inside your company. While I think a startup with existing product organization already has that kind of thinking implemented inside the organization. So it's a different perspective on the same topic. Maybe it has to do with different maturities of organizations.
Yeah, and
that would be my guess.
This would be also explain why corporates are more reluctant to the term growth hacking. I was like, oh no, not this bullshit again. While a startup is much more open for like, okay, let's hack growth, for example, because it's more, it's like sometimes it's essential for the survival of the startup, and for a corporate, it's more like like slow, substantial growth, linear. Yes. But I mean, what probably both like disciplines would agree on is like oftentimes what you hear is even for experienced startup marketers is that growth hacks on the other side are not really like how do you say substantial for like your long-term success, right? They're one-time things, and then once I saw a nice curve from someone at Shopify who was like every growth hack gives you a spike, but then it falls back down, and then you do the next growth hack, and you may get like an incremental higher result as from the growth hack before, but after all, like it's not a substantial improvement.
True, but this is the same for conversion optimization. That's why I think actually from a point of view of the disciplines, what do you actually do? It's more the same than it is different. It comes from different perspectives, so people associate different things. But I also, when it's about the question, why do traditional organizations are sometimes so reluctant about growth hacking and they mock themselves about the term. I think this is typical, and it follows a curve that we see a lot of time when it's about innovation. And the curve described in the Gartner hype cycle is also similar to psychological phenomenon when you see how do people deal with traumas, with losses. So there are 7 psychological stages, and first is ignorance, and then it goes on about fear and sadness and all these different stages. I don't know them exactly, but it's the same about big corporations. So first thing is ignore that this is relevant for me, and this is the same for conversion optimization and growth hacking. But there will come the stage where they're sad when they miss the train, right? So
that's true. And then the sadness is even bigger.
Yeah, in the Gartner hype cycle, it's called like the slope of disillusionment, right? Before slope of enlightenment after you went down the disillusionment stage. So.
Yeah. So what would you say, like maybe to close this topic off, like what you would say if you talk to companies or corporates, for example, and maybe an individual marketer or CEO asked you, I want to set up a department or a role who's responsible for improving my growth numbers, my conversion optimization. Would you advise them on naming it growth marketer or growth department, or would you rather name it optimization manager, whatever?
I would. My advice be don't care about the name. Look at the ingredients and pick out what's relevant for you so you can improve. Because if you don't improve, you will die. So that's my advice. And if you already started dying because you care about the name, it's too late. So.
That's very good advice. Talking about the name, if you do, it's too late anyways. Nice. Okay, great. Let's jump to our second question, which we got in advance. And this one we got from our colleagues at Wider Funnel, from Nick there specifically. And Nick raised the question, which they are debating internally as well a lot, is how new checkout methods like one-click, Apple Pay, or even chatbot conversion funnels will impact our work as optimizers in the future. And I think this is like a very interesting thing, because like for me, like optimizers most often work in the realm of the checkout process, because there's where you usually or presumably can generate the biggest ROI of an optimization effort. And so now we see something like almost like a fundamental technological shift happening here in the checkout area. What have you encountered so far? What are your thoughts on this one?
So I think, first of all, when you're optimizing something so it sells more, it's all about your customer as a company. So if you think that you can use some technology to improve the quality of your relationship with your customer, it's good anyway. But I see there two different facets in that question. And the other one, for me, sounds like, what's about AI and machine learning and chatbots? So will machines automatically sell the stuff to our customers in future?
Of course.
And yeah, I mean, a lot of people are scared because they're afraid that their jobs will be taken by robots in future. And I think if you really understand that selling better means understanding your customers' needs, then I think it will be difficult for machines. But if you are able to operationalize that process into a software, into a chatbot, into a conversational UI, of course, then you will be able to scale that advantage. So we know it's all about scale. And so I think, yeah, I would start researching a lot on that effects. So can we reproduce the effect of building great relationships with our customers? Can we operationalize that and let machines do at least part of the job? So I would say in the next 2 to 5 years, we will talk a lot about this.
Yeah, I would also think what's interesting, what comes to my mind when I look at like the specific questions, for example, when he raises like implementing Apple Pay or something like that. Of course, like if one follows, or if we take your argument in the first place, like do it customer centric. And I mean, obviously Apple Pay has proven to be something which customers care about. So it might be a good idea to add this one to an experiment. But at the same time, you need to be aware that once you would start implement a solution from someone like Apple, like your optimization options really shrink, because like as far as I know, Apple defines even the color, position, and button of the Apple Pay button in the checkout. Like it's always a black button at the very bottom. So like you don't have much optimization potential here. I mean, obviously you can tweak the button, but then you risk Apple blocking you for this payment method, which is an interesting dependency to go into.
Yeah, but when you see it from the customer perspective, the universal principle that never changes, we know Jeff Bezos said, base your strategy on things that are not changing. And the human brain did not change since 20,000 years. And what's one principle of the human brain? It's lazy. So why is Apple Pay good? Why is PayPal checkout great, especially on mobile devices? Because people are lazy, and they will be in the next thousands of years. So of course, make it visible in front and use that universal principle. But that's what I mean. If you see customer-centric, from a customer point of view, a principle that you can leverage, use it, but start with a customer. So yeah, customers are lazy. That's why we use Apple Pay. That's why we might, a single page checkout might be helpful. Shopify does a great job in that. PayPal checkout on mobile devices. I search especially for that. I don't buy at shops that don't have PayPal Express checkout.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't type in all that things on my little device. No, I never do.
I think it's the only option if you want to compete as a standalone shop with like the Amazon checkout, where like where all your data is already there. So you need to
exactly.
And what we also would probably would advise for companies like, but before jumping on the Apple Pay hype train, research your numbers. Like, do you actually have Apple users on your shop, or should you rather look at Google Pay or Android Pay? Like, make it customer centric, or maybe even deliver the payment option depending on the device the user uses. So think about that.
But on the lowest level, the question is, how do we leverage customer needs with technology, right? So And I would say first identify the customer need, and then ask yourself what technology helps me to scale that.
Yeah, perfectly. Great question, great answer. Great, and now let's come to our third and last question for this show, which reached us also via Facebook, and it is, what are the 3 biggest misconceptions about growth hacking and conversion optimization you encounter when talking to startups or corporates?
Yeah, that's similar to the first question, but I see people care a lot about that. So I think the biggest misconception is that growth hacking is for startups and tech companies, and conversion optimization is for more traditional companies, right? And
Sure.
of course, this is completely wrong.
Yeah.
I would not follow that path. I would say every conversion optimizer on that planet should care a lot about growth hacking and how he can learn from growth hackers to be a better conversion optimizer, and vice versa. So I think to stick with that terms is already a mistake. Yeah. But the question is, how can you educate especially traditional companies to be more how do you say to see the advantages that they can have from startup mindsets and growth hacking philosophies, right? Traditional companies are so stuck in their processes and limitations and policies and CI and legal and tech, legacy, whatever. I would say forget it. You have to change that way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's not a question of UX or tech or whatever. It first starts with your culture and your mindset, and that's what conversion optimization and growth hacking have in common. You need a mindset where you look for your chances and possibilities instead of sticking with existing limitations.
Yeah, I think this one nails it pretty good. I think one misconception I oftentimes come across is that people think like doing incremental single A/B tests is like a growth program. Like it's like those single encapsulated tasks are like the part of the growth program. So I think people are missing the point of like that it's really that it's not just a side task of one person, but that you really need like a department or even like a dedicated resource to like which is also able to do continuous experimentation and continuous A/B testing to see a mid to long term success as well beyond those single spikes of a red versus green button A/B test.
I would say conversion optimization is the art to deconstruct big projects in sprints. So you get agile not just in the way you're programming stuff, you're getting agile in also marketing projects. So of course that's why it starts with marketing, because marketing does that ridiculous big redesign projects with big brand agencies, and of course they fail. So with conversion optimization thinking and a redesign project, you get it agile, you deconstruct it into little sprints, and you get it lean because you measure the outcome of everything. And you can use that principle to deconstruct every project. And projects is project thinking, right? That's what makes traditional companies die. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's why conversion optimization is a good blueprint for copying the principle of agile and lean and changing their way of thinking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And do we have one more misconception which occurs to you? Like something that's really
I think that's the most important. People should start with their mindset. And I see a lot of optimizers that struggle with the mindset of the overall corporation. So with their corporate culture, that's obviously their biggest optimization threat, right? That they have to struggle with a culture that does not allow optimization most of the times.
Yeah, that's true. Great. I think we gathered some very valuable and actionable insights for our audience. So really happy how this episode went. Right. So if you have any feedback on the show, as I said in the beginning, tweet at us using the hashtag MOG, standing for Masters of Growth. On Twitter, tweet at me. I'm at Herbigt, HERBIGT, or Andres at Morys. Shoot us your questions or your feedback. You can also use our website and the intercom chat on there, iridion.com, to submit any questions. And if you like what you've heard or saw, we would really appreciate you giving us an honest review on maybe iTunes if you're listening to the podcast right now, or hit the thumbs up button below if you're watching us on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel to watch out for new shows. We're currently planning a bi-weekly schedule, so looking forward to discuss the next questions from you in the next episode. So have a great time and talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.